Dear friends, in today's warm afternoon, we are going to discuss about addiction. So in this video, first we will see about the 4 Ds of addiction. Welcome to my channel Inspired Souls. So what are the 4 Ds of addiction? So first D is deviation, second one is distress, and the third one is dysfunction, and the fourth one is detachment. So we will see about what are these 4 Ds and how they undergo these 4 Ds, those people who are undergoing addiction, how they are affected by these 4 Ds. The first one is deviation. So in the society, we know that people are following certain rules and regulations. Okay, so since we are all normal, we are able to follow that rules and regulations in the society. So when a person is addicted to something, okay, maybe or alcohol or some other things, it can be anything, the person will not be able to follow the norms and rules of society. Here the person becomes away from the society and he feels an alienation away from the society. So here the person is not following the norms and rules. So here he is suffering from a deviation in his personality as well as with regard to the functions of the society. And the second one is dysfunction. So what dysfunction happens? So we know that when a person is suffering from addiction, his whole personality is undergoing a dysfunction. He is not functioning in a normal way. Maybe the daily routines are suffering. For example, getting up early in the morning, going for work and doing other activities. So all the activities are under dysfunction. So that is the second thing the person is suffering. And the third one is distress. If a person is in addiction, it affects his personal life as well as his social life. His social life includes his family, his friends, his neighbors and everyone. So everyone is affected by this addiction. He is causing distress. There are two terms like eustress and distress. Eustress is a positive stress. When a child is going to write the exam, the child is facing a stress. Then only he will study. It is an example of eustress. Distress means something which is a negative type of stress. Especially people when they are in this kind of problems like addiction. So this is causing distress to the person as well as to the society. Society means the people around him. And the fourth one is detachment. Here the person is not able to have a friendly relation and communication with others because the person is suffering from these addictions. So dear friends, we have seen what are the 4 Ds of addiction, and now we will see how the step by step how a person is taken into the habit of addiction. So first it comes with the first step, it is use. A person who is taking has any kind of addiction or like drugs or alcohol or smoking or anything, first the person does an experimental, okay, maybe with his friends or just for a curiosity's sake the person takes that drug and he has again he goes and uses it. Okay, it comes to the second stage, that is abuse. Okay, he is using and he is again using, that becomes an abuse, and which leads the person to dependence. Use, abuse. The third stage is dependence. In the dependent stage, the person is not able to get away from the addiction. He is he comes into a situation where he cannot survive with this. Okay, he has very much the tendency to take that again and again in the case of dependence, and the dependence slowly leads the person to the thing called addiction. So in the stage of addiction, the person has totally deviated from the normal functioning and his whole behavior is affected by addiction. Even the brain chemicals also undergoes changes as the pleasure areas of the brain is stimulated just because of the addictive elements like alcohol, drugs or whatever it is. So it affects the person also physiologically. The addiction is also affecting the person physiologically. So this is we can say that it is it's something that affects a person's life in a major perspective. So how can we change this addiction? So the responsibility, like the people who are around the person also has got a responsibility to change. So the first step is the continued awareness. So whatever the addiction the person has got, maybe eating habits or whatever it is, so first become continuously aware about one's own addiction. Okay, what I have a particular tendency or craving for this thing or that thing. I just become aware about that thing, a continued awareness about the thing. So this, whenever the person goes to taking more food, or whenever the person goes to taking alcohol sip by sip, the person should have that continued awareness. I am in a stage of addiction, I have to overcome. So the awareness is the first step to change. So the person should have an insight and awareness about the addiction. Then the job is half done. The person slowly will be able to progress in his tackling with the addiction. So that is one step of dealing with the addiction. So the person has to deal with the society. The society also will be another factor which is also influencing the people, the friendship and other things here. The second thing we can say as friendship, the person will have to sometimes change his friendship or get the friendship of the elderly people who can advise him, who can help him to get out of this problem. So the communication skills and the interpersonal skills, and he should improve, especially with the elder people who can guide him to the real life which is without addiction. So that is the second step. So the third step is overcoming the thoughts. The person will be having the continued thoughts of going and drinking addiction. It may be an obsessive thought. To get out of this obsessive thought is the next step to avoid the addiction. And the fourth one is avoiding the situations which is leading the person to the addictive behavior. So for sometimes the person will have to get away from the situations which is making him to go for that particular behavior, whatever it is, friendship or whatever it is making him to do that. And the next one is assertiveness. That means the ability to tell yes or no with the people who are forcing him to take the particular addictive thing. And the next one is a strong willpower with him oneself, the decision capacity and willpower. If the person has the willpower to overcome that and he has to strengthen himself with his willpower, then he can addict. And the last one is prayer or the spiritual life. If the person is improving his prayer or spiritual life, it will help him to avoid all the situations of addiction and will have a great companionship with God. Thank you, dear friends.